Sain Gregory the Great teaches us that the encounter of Jesus with the blind man and the healing teaches us both in its power but also in the mystery of the story. Yes, the power that Christ can overcome ill ailments, diseases. But the mystery is there because the blind man, Saint Gregory says, symbolizes all of humanity. The blindness of humanity, that we have forsaken the light, forsaken sight in our sin. And so Christ comes to humanity as he comes to the blind man. And Saint Gregory says, we're told in the story that Jesus was on his way to Jericho. Jericho symbolizes the moon. The moon because it wanes in its cycles. And so it slowly fades, symbolizing man's weakness, his mortal weakness. Christ was on his way to Jericho because he comes to man in his weakness. He enters into human frailty. He meets us in the darkness that we may be lifted up into the light. And the man, we're told, was sitting by the wayside. St. Gregory says, we remember that Christ is the way. We all remain by the wayside if our prayers are not heartfelt, if we do not cry out as the blind man cried out. We must beg for Christ's presence in our lives, throw ourselves on his mercy. If our prayers are not heartfelt, if they don't truly come from the depths of us, then we may remain on the wayside, however much we think we believe. And when the man cried out, the crowd tried to silence him. St. Gregory says the voices that rose up against him represent our vices, our sins. St. Gregory teaches us that when we seek Christ, when we seek to pray in earnest, there may be turmoil in our heart. There may be a growing pressure and opposition within us. The vices within us will resist our desire for the light, our desire for Christ. And St. Gregory encourages us. He says we must pursue Christ, persist in our prayer, like the man who cried out. Keep on crying out. Because at the end of the story, of course, Jesus says to the blind man, it is your faith that has saved you. No matter how great our sin, no matter how great the turmoil within us, no matter how much opposition we may feel rising up from a life of sin that we have led, if we seek Christ, if we place our faith in him, we may be saved.